With one championship officially wrapped and the other close to being over, the pressure is off for most of the drivers. While you'd think that'd let the air out of the balloon, what this actually does is free up people to take risks. With nothing holding them back, we could see some wild racing today as we get ready to watch round 11 of the Camel GT series. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Adam Lindgren. Behind the scenes is our director, Zach Johnson, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. The Red Bull Ring has seen names like Hill, Andretti, Senna, Schumacher, and many others navigate its peaks and valleys. Let's take a closer look at it with our track guide. Welcome to the Red Bull Ring. Located near Spielberg, Austria, this track began life in a much more fast and sweeping format. Having gone through multiple different owners, it eventually was snatched up by Red Bull and has its three different layouts you see today. While they range roughly between 1 to 2.5 miles in length, the thing they hold in common are fast straights, hard braking zones, and very few corners. In fact, the longest and most common layout, the Grand Prix course, has only 9 of them. Spots like Remus and Gosser are the most popular corners for overtakes, but both involve dramatic elevation changes. Each have their perils. Remus tends to see drivers make contact when the blind cutback often goes wrong, whereas Gosser tempts you into braking far too late, and the downhill nature shoots cars miserably into the gravel. A few swift bends still scatter the track, with turns like Lauda, Rent, or A1 really testing a driver's accuracy at high speeds. However, most of them don't send you off into the grass. Rather, there is a lot of paved runoff. But they often include some nasty curves most cars will want to avoid hitting, as they've been known to damage suspension and undertrays. A variety of types of racing compete here, with everything from lower Formula open-wheelers to motorcycles, touring cars, and all the way up to Formula One holding events regularly. Set among the gorgeously picturesque Alps, and including great racing on a challenging and history-rich circuit, it's easy to see why fans and drivers are both eager every time they come for a race. Adam, this track is known for frantic multi-class races, and you throw Camel into the mix, it's going to be no exception.
Absolutely. One of the quickest laps of the season. The Red Bull Ring is a 2.68 mile or 4.32 kilometer 9-turn, 3 straightaway beast, and the medium speed nature of the circuit means that the Nissans will feel right at home here, with the most dangerous turns for them being Lauda and Remus. The Audis, they're a lot more off throttle around this circuit, with their characteristic understeer threatening to pull them off course from Schlossgold all the way through A1. Multiclass here is always terrifying, with many blind crests, and frequent changes in the racing line make the middle sector a nightmare for both classes to organize amenable passes. Short and sweet, but full of action. That's the Red Bull Ring, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely is. And, well, the championship was kind of short and sweet. And unfortunately, for those that wanted a tight fight, like I said, Timothy Reed technically has not clinched it, but he only needs to score 1 point today. And since he is here and there's less than 15 cars, as long as he starts the race, he's pretty much guaranteed. Heitor Sintes Galindo, however, has a pretty tight fight for that third spot. He's finally started to come good at the end of the season. He's going to have to fend off Fabian Jungbluth for that one. Xavier Sanchez, who's fighting for a championship in the Grand Prix Legend Series, is actually vying for 5th here. Look at that. There is a whole bunch of cars within about 16 points right there, 14 points behind him. So he's got a whole bunch of competitors looking to try and overtake him for that one. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the GTOs.
Yeah, GTO's Javier Del Olmo clinched the championship last round over Timothy Vaughn. Timothy Vaughn's goose egg, meaning he could not compete for the win of the championship. Ian Haycox, at 85 points back of the overall lead, is only 9 points back of Timothy Vaughn. So in a really good position to try and possibly get that second position if Timothy Vaughn has another bad championship day. But can Ian Haycox even hold on to third position, being only 6 points ahead of Plumlee? Because it is tight from Ian Haycox all the way back to David B. Lehman. It's only 29 points separating third through 10th. So it's a very tight field, and all of that can change over the course of the race, just like it did last week with Ian Haycox jumping up a couple spots.
Absolutely. Now, for today's race, pretty simple fare. Their typical sprint format at 40 minutes, open setups. A lot of the drivers are actually pretty free about sharing with one another what their setups are in this series because it's kind of small and tight knit. So they want to try and encourage newcomers to come on in and enjoy the fun. No spare car, though. And this place tends to see some significant accidents, especially in some of those heavy braking zones. They have a drive through penalty at 17 incidents and a DQ at 25. That's going to be a big thing with a lot of paved runoff on some of the corners with the very fast exits, which will make it easy to rack them up. So we'll see who can hold on to the car and keep it on the black stuff and keep it rolling with 4 minutes left on the clock. Hugh Haycock's actually on the provisional pole up in the GTPs, but in the GTOs, Cam Porter, of all people, was on provisional pole before. Timothy Vaughn has now taken it away.
Yeah, Timothy Vaughn wants to redeem himself from last week's problems that he had on the first couple of laps. Cam Porter, though, in a really good position on his qualifying, still solidly in that second spot. We're seeing more times coming in. We still have about half of the Audi field to go. There are only 9 GTPs here, Joe. So for the first time this season, I believe, we have a majority Audi field, and quite a majority.
Indeed. Reed only in 4th, but like I said, he just needs a single point, and he's out of reach for Humphrey, who did qualify second. Excellent job there by the number 8. There is your current championship leader, champion in waiting, I guess you could say, at this stage, in the number 3. His first lap at a 1:15.8 has actually been slotted down to 5th, but he's going very wide on some of these corner exits. I'll be amazed if this counts. It does, and it's quicker to 15.6.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ian Haycock's making his way to the top of the GTO standings with Arturas Kundal in his second race this season in second position. Ove Trangere down there in 3rd in qualifying. These second laps for the Audis, you got to remember, it does take a while for the tires to heat up for these cars. So even on these second laps, they're still warming up. So drivers who did a decent outlap are going to have a good opportunity, though. As we see another one crossing the line here, is that going to be a better time for them? The answer is yes. Timothy Vaughn up to pole position.
Wow, by 4/10 clear over Ian Haycock, so really smashed that one. Still waiting on Marty Ollie to set a single time, so he could become a part of the mix here. Ove Trangere is on his second flyer, coming around the last couple corners in a moment. Rent and down into the last plunging downhill right-hander. The understeer of this car, no doubt, going to be frustrating for them to try and keep it within the boundaries. And as he flies off the final corner, did the 2 keep it within the limits? Yes, he did. 27.3, and that's good enough for the front row.
Good enough for the front row. And it looks like all of our drivers have taken all of their qualifying times at this point. Hector Cordero Suarez and Michael Jenke are not qualifying. Jenke did not set any valid qualifying times, and Hector did not go out. So I believe that's our field.
Yeah, Ollie's still on that last lap. Should have enough time to get around for this second one. Big credit, though, I'd say, to Cam Porter, currently sitting in 7th, has put a really good lap in for him. Should be interesting to see if he can back that up in the race itself. But let's see, do we wait? Yeah, let's wait for Marty here, because he could definitely change things in the GTOs.
Absolutely. Marty has 1:17, so easily enough time to finish this lap. You can see how much slower this second sector is for the Audis compared to the GTPs. So much more time off throttle, so much more time on the brakes, and in this last sector as well, a lot slower. The Audis tend to push out towards the exit of these corners, so it takes a lot more of a slower speed through these sectors. Pretty decent line for Marty, not using all the track on exit, but a decent line through the middle of that corner, crosses the line. Is this lap going to count? The answer is no. Oh, yes, it did.
Yeah, it did.
One position up over Doug Cloud.
All right. It's a good thing we waited for him. Meanwhile, our starting order for the prototypes has Hugh Haycock, as we mentioned, on the pole position. Alex Ott with an excellent one there in P2. You've got Timothy Reed starting from 3rd, as Pepe Fuentes, who took his first ever win in Camel, starting from 4th today. Aaron Humphrey will start from P5. Alexander Van de Sant will be in P6. Heitor Sintez Galindo, a little far down for him, starting from 7th spot, has Richard Holt next to him, and then Fabian Jungbluth, the last of our prototypes, starting 9th today.
And then we've got Timothy Vaughn on provisional pole position over Ove Trangrade, who's lined up next to him. Ian Haycox lines up in the 3rd position with Mickey Friesen outside of him in 4th. Row 3 is Arturas Kundalis with Tim Kennedy in 6th position. Cam Porter on row 4 with Marty Ollie. And then it's Doug Cloud in 9th and Devin Donaghy rounding out your top 10. David B. Lehman lines up in 11th position with Dominic Friels in 12th spot. Jamie Hamill-Smith, not the qualifying he was looking for, down in 13th with Mika Tupola jumping over from the GTPs, joining us in the Audis in 14th position. Antonio Martinez in 15th with Nils Hoyt in 16th position, Nick Lance down in 17th, and Johnny Bell in 18th spot. Mark Briones is our final qualifier in 19th with Michael Jenke in the 20th position, as well as Hector Cordero Suarez rounding out your 21 Audis today, 9 Nissans for 30 cars in the field.
Yeah, overwhelmingly in the GTOs, but actually, hopefully that'll make it a little better traffic-wise. We got a lot of views from those GTOs today. Jamie Hamill-Smith, one of those onboards that we're going to be watching. He'll, as you mentioned, start all the way back from 13th. Not sure what cost him in qualifying, but here is his VR set with pedal cam. Nicely done. Ian Haycox starting much farther up in 3rd, showing us also his pedal cam view with his unique 1-foot setup, his modified setup that he has. And then, of course, Cam Porter down there starting in 7th, ready to go with an excellent qualifying today. Already prototypes have taken off with pretty decent track conditions, although maybe slightly warm on the track, Adam.
Yeah, 96 Fahrenheit, 36 Celsius, so slightly warm for these guys. It'll warm up a little bit as well. It's 12:17 virtual standard time for these drivers, so the heat of the day still yet to come over the course of this 40-lap race. And look at that wind as well, 6 miles an hour, 7, shouldn't affect them too much, but might affect them a tiny bit going down the straights.
Hopefully doesn't gust around and change. That's really going to be difficult for these cars. Oof. Some of them anxious to go. They get checked up as Hugh Haycox was waiting, and the green flag is out. He leaps away from them down towards Lauda. Let's see who is going to be able to take off from that first corner. Best amongst them as they go side by side. Reed almost slipping up, but keeps it from spinning. Let's go to the GTOs.
Timothy Vaughn with a great jump over Ove Trangrade. Hung up on second gear a little bit, but look at this, 3 wide into turn 1, and that's Ian Haycox going way deep across the runoff area. He knew that he was 3 wide and just had to take the long way around. Ove Trangrade is going to hang on to second. Ian Haycox and Kundalis battling it out for 3rd.
Kundalis down to the inside as they approach the braking for Remus, and he's going to be able to get ahead as they slam onto the binders. Close moment behind Haycox as he almost got tipped around. Not sure who that was getting close, but they survived. So your lead is Vaughn, Trangrade, Kundalis, Haycox.
Absolutely, and the GTPs, things have strung out a little bit. Again, it's more or less nose to tail for all of them, but look at this battle of the GTOs once again. Ian Haycox trying to hang on to that outside, but he keeps falling back from 3rd position all the way back to 6th. He cannot get the speed back up, and these top 10 Audis are very strong. The strength of field very high in the Audis today.
Oof. Ian Haycox on the inside of Marty Ollie. That gives him a little bit of an advantage coming down through Rauch and Vert, but he needs to finish it up. Marty still being challenged by Mickey Friesen here, but Mickey falls off of him. Looks like Haycox will hold on to that 5th position. This is definitely a lot more side-by-side racing here in the GTOs than we're seeing in the GTPs, which have all gone single file.
Yeah, and a lot more side-by-side than we have seen in rounds past. I think that's because the GTOs know that they are the dominant class in this particular race. This means that their battles are going to take precedence over the GTPs. Yeah, it might break them up when the GTPs come through, but they can duke it out more. They've got a lot more to lose and a lot more to gain by taking these positions early. Late braking for Devin Donaghy around the corner. That's going to give an opportunity to Cam Porter. He does have a run. He's going to look out to the inside, or to the outside rather, of Donaghy as they start heading down the back straight.
Yeah, Cam gets a pretty good run here, but he lost 2 spots at the start, so he's going to want this back from Donaghy. Feeds back into line, though, just doesn't have the strength under braking, but in front of them, a little bit of a bobble. I think that was Mickey Friesen once again, went off track, exiting Remus, loses him 2 positions, maybe even 3. Here comes Doug Cloud to take it away as well, and not quite through yet.
Yeah, good move from Doug to try and take a deep lunge there. Mickey Friesen unfortunately can't get the car off the corner, so Friesen continues to go back 7th to 11th just in the course of this lap.
Just a heads up, we did have some issues in the GTPs. Richard Holt and Johnny Bell both found themselves spinning on that first lap, so that sends them backwards down the field, but otherwise it's been clean and green out here on the circuit, flying down towards Rents and A1 once again. Ooh, coming off the corner here. Here comes Timothy Reed in a battle. Oh, and he's slow.
Possible mischief for Timothy Reed, just slow off the corner, or he had to repay a slowdown penalty. I think that might have been what it was. But Timothy Reed going from 4th position all the way back down to 7th. That's losing almost half of the field, now side by side with Aitor Sintes Galindo, who's far back in the field right now as well.
Oh, he nearly lost control of the car on that inside pinch down, so he did a good job keeping it from going completely around. Trying to see if I can spot where he maybe could have had a penalty. And it wasn't on those first couple corners. So it must, if it had to have been on the last corner, if it was a slowdown penalty. And yes, it absolutely was. Just found it. So he went a little too wide coming through this right-hander coming up right here. This time probably going to give it a little bit more of a buffer. He does, and he's already on the attack for Jungbluth.
Yeah, Reed's going to duck to the inside here on turn 1. This move tends to be a little risky for the person on the outside, so Jungbluth does wisely back out of it. He'll have another opportunity at catching Timothy Reed, but Reed, as we know, one of the fastest in the GTPs as a championship leader. And right now, having started this race, if he can make it to 75%, he's got a good opportunity of taking that point that he needs to win the championship. Jungbluth to the inside, a little bit of over-under there. Jungbluth took it too deep on the brakes, and that's going to get the position back to Reed.
It's very lucky he clattered over that exit curb. I have to imagine these Nissans do not like those tall sausage curbs.
No, and actually going over those curves, even if you don't, grind on them, rail grind on them, it can damage the underside of the car, which can lose you straight line speed. And with 3 true straightaways here in the Nissans, there's no real way for there's no real opportunity to lose that speed and try and maintain track position, so they have to be careful with that.
This would be Timothy's first championship if he could bring it home. Also, don't need to go to it, but Ian Haycox went deep into turn 1, lost a couple spots. He's back down to 6th in the meantime. But wow, Timothy Reed has passed him, and he's basically on his way. He has left him in the dust. Look at how distant he is ahead of Jungbluth and Sintes Galindo now.
Yeah, absolutely. Timothy Reed a little bit out of place right now, so that's why he's streaking away from Jungbluth at the moment. But taking a look at this, the GTO leaders have broken away. It's 1.8 seconds back to Arturas Kalindos in 3rd, but Ove Trangrade's keeping Timothy Vaughn very honest right now, and Trangrade looks to be the calmer of the two when it comes to car control at the moment.
Vaughn has not had a win yet in this series. Ove has. So we'll see if Timothy can bring this one home. He's going to have to fight hard for it, because there goes Ove down to the inside of Rent, but that's a tough place to overtake.
Yeah, that's going to be a off track for him, going off a little bit onto those sawtooth curves on the edge there. So Trangrade's racking up some incident points, trying to make that assault on Vaughn. Vaughn has looked fairly unstable on corner exits. I think his car just gets a little loose on throttle, and so that's causing him to lose a little bit of time to Trangrade. Trangrade looking very calm. If he can just hang out behind, catch some draft, and just keep the pressure on to Vaughn, he's got a really good opportunity. He might even try a move here. He's going to look to the inside, Trangrade is, and Vaughn takes it late on the brakes, but still enough time to turn in. Vaughn's got him covered at the moment.
Vaughn's had 5 podiums, including 1 this season, so this wouldn't be unheard of for him to be this high up, but just him getting a win would be a first for him, and he's certainly given it his all to try and keep him at bay. Still so early in the race, though. He's going to have to fight for a long time, or hope that the traffic helps him out. Speaking of which, I understand that already GTPs have caught the GTOs.
Yeah, absolutely. Hugh Haycock's trying to battle his way through these GTOs. Now he's coming up to the worst sector for multiclass. As you can see, sliding it through that corner there, trying to get in between those Audis without losing too much time. This is a real challenge for the GTPs to judge where the GTOs are going to be, because it's hard for the GTOs. As you can see, contact there from Hugh Haycox on Antonio Martinez. He was expecting Martinez to fade out to the outside there, and Martinez did not do so. Sorry, that was Mika Tupola, and Antonio Martinez as well, holding to the inside line there. So Hugh Haycock's majorly slowed up there. Alex Ott as well in the background trying to make it through.
Camera's not showing damage on the nose of Haycock's. If it is, it's extremely minor. So I think he's gotten away with it. Alex Ott does catch up, like you said. It's down to about 2.5 seconds between them, but he's having to deal with the exact same traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. And these Audis up here in the top 10, the top 15 are battling all for positions. So he's going to have to weave his way through the similar paint schemes of Michael Janke and Dominic Fries. Then Jamie Hamill-Smith, he streaks by right now. And now he's up to this battle that was separated by 3/10 apiece from 10th position all the way up to 4th position in the Audis. So it's going to be hard for him to get through. He's catching them at the worst possible time. Let's ride on board.
Yeah, you don't want to be behind them in the infields. This could prove to be costly either in bodywork or in time. We'll see if he pushes it. Oh, he's going to try and sneak down to the inside. Good heads up from Mickey, seeing that one coming. Maybe around the outside here. Yeah, just uses that extra down force. Gets one, gets two. Now he's going to go by 3 of them.
And now he's going to go by all of them. He's going to try and cut around the outside here. He's going to really cut off Devin Donaghy there. And look at that. Ian Haycock's holding his line. That was really close there between Hugh and Ian. Father and son almost making contact on the track.
Yeah, Hugh for a while was racing in these GTOs, and now he's switched back to the car he's probably a little bit more known for and has had more success in. Poor Alex Ott, I think, is getting caught up a lot worse, ironically, despite being at the end of the lap. Now he's finally getting some straight line portions where he can sneak by them.
Yeah, look at the chaos that they all have to figure out. It's just really hard to navigate through this right now. And look at that. Oh, a little bit of a scary moment there for Ott as he came off of 1. The GTO's trying to get the power down. Everyone getting a little bit loose coming down off of the hill of 1. It's a really challenging place to apply power when you don't have a lot of downforce going on. And these GTPs, as similar as they are in downforce to a modern F1 car, still have a hard time getting the power down on those older tires.
Don't look now. Behind them, Timothy Reed. There you can see him. He's catching up to Aaron Humphrey. So there goes Aaron Humphrey's hopes. He's already down to 5th. He's had a bit of a tough one, not able to make up any positions, and his rival, who started ahead of him, is already caught back up to him.
Yeah, Timothy Reed trying to do his best to weave through, but look at the challenge of the traffic. They're going to have a lot to work through. Timothy Reed sneaking on to the back of Humphrey and Fuentes, and as well as Van de Sant, and here they come through the thick of the Audi battles, and the Audis are not going to be giving up any time and not going to be giving up any line. They know that they've got the numbers advantage, and look at this. Humphrey about to get passed by Reed. Reed takes it up the inside, contact, and he's around. And major contact.
Big hit. T-boned, absolutely T-boned there. That was Devin Donaghy who got into him, unfortunately. Car staying stationary. Wonder if it's too damaged to continue. Nope, he's going to be able to pull away. Does not. No, he does have a black and orange flag, so he is going to have to come in and take repairs regardless. He knows it. He's going to cut across, probably get an unsafe entry, but I think that matters little to him right now.
And honestly, I don't think that Humphrey knew that Timothy was there. Timothy did stick his nose in a little bit late, but Humphrey was trying to get to the inside of Ian Haycock's and cut across the nose of Timothy Reed. I think Reed was on the curb on the inside trying to give Humphrey enough room to make it to the corner, and Humphrey just didn't see him.
Yeah, and unfortunately with so many of those GTOs around, little they could do in that situation to try and avoid the incident. What this does mean is that pretty much clinches it for Timothy Reed.
Sorry, as we ride on board, check this out, the number 17 of Bardiali. He's going to try and make it through this. There goes Heitor Santos Galindo, and look at him try to avoid this incident. Couldn't find where to go. Managed to avoid getting into the wall, but my goodness, just driving into the smoke there.
Yeah, I mean, he's on the other side of the Alps at that point, just goes way outside of the track to try and keep the car safe. Another replay, though. Santos Galindo gets a tip around from Fabian Jungbluth. Again, just been a bit of a miserable season. It was looking up there for Santos Galindo, and now it's falling apart again, unfortunately. But as I was saying, Aaron Humphrey, since he's not going to be able to win this race with almost certainty, Reed will clinch the championship. So Bit of a sad way to see that wrap up, but Timothy's still running in 6th. Hopefully he didn't lose too much with that. Jungbluth got by, and boy, just about lost the car coming off of Remus.
Yeah, that was Timothy Reed just losing the back end. So easy to do coming off of Remus. Remus, just like turn 1, kind of has a downward crest as you come off of the end of the corner, and so it can be a real challenge to get the power down coming off of there. Timothy Reed showing why these two-wheel drive GTP cars are a bear to handle on power application. Once you get up over about 60, they get pretty smooth, but anything below 60 miles an hour, and the rear tires really do want to spin up out from under you.
Yeah, and we're seeing that despite this being the top split as well, we haven't mentioned that much, I don't think.
Oh, lead! The lead is gone! Timothy Vaughn has had an incident.
And Arturas Kundelis is the one that picks it up. Where is Trangarade? He was off course there. So now he comes down into Jochen Rindt and is going to be in 2nd. Oh, but the car looks like it is understeering badly.
No contact for Ove Trangarade and Timothy Vaughn into one another. Timothy Vaughn actually got clipped by one of the GTPs. There's the incident. He gets clipped and just puts his foot into it. Ove Trangarade manages to avoid him. Both of our leaders able to stay out of damage from that incident. But my goodness, that's going to change the complexion of the lead of this race. Riding on board now with Ove Trangarade.
Kundelis has only had 1 win so far. He could double it here if he just keeps it together. Here's that look from on board. Once again, incredible heads up. Unfortunately, it still cost him, but at least he's still racing.
Unfortunately, Timothy Vaughn, that puts him 3.5 seconds behind Ove Trangarade and gives Arturas Kundelis a 3-second lead. Ian Haycock's now in 3rd position, trying to hang on to that over Timothy Vaughn. Tim Kennedy's been poking his nose in on Vaughn. He thinks now he's got an opportunity to put Vaughn a couple of pegs down.
Fascinating battle here at the top of the GTOs. Kundelis certainly has a great opportunity, but now he's got to execute from here. We watch from on board. Ian Haycock's looking back at Timothy Vaughn, former leader, trying to chase him down. Does he have the pace to easily dispose of him?
Timothy's got toasted tires right now. He's going to have to hang out for a little bit and let those tires cool down. It's going to take 2, 3, maybe even 4 laps. But look at this. Timothy Vaughn, he thinks he has his opportunity. He thought better of it going to the inside of Ian Haycock's, but he's definitely got pace on Haycock's. The question is, does he have the tires to take advantage of a mistake from Haycock's?
Well, he's going to have to stick as close as he is if he wants to capitalize on a mistake. So it looks like he's doing the first half of the battle. He's got a big slipstream coming up the main straight, but decides it's not worth it down into Lauda. Here's where usually you'll see cars try and make a move, but he clatters over that outside curb pretty hard.
And Timothy Reed's around again. As we watch this battle, Timothy Reed is around again. Unfortunately, just got caught up on the curbs coming through the downhill corner. And here we go, the battle once again. It looks like Vaughn has made the move on Haycock's through Remus and is going to try and put some pressure on down here, trying to take away the inside of the corner from Haycock's.
But we've seen some of these cars with the 4-wheel drive come back around the outside. No, he tries the cutback instead. Still doesn't work. And it looks like Vaughn is onto the podium once again. He has 4 seconds to make up to catch up to Trangarade, and even more than that to get to Kundelis. So a lot of work to do. And that's not even taking into account that surely Ian Haycock's is going to try and fight back.
Yeah, absolutely. So Haycock's definitely is going to try and fight back, and Tim Kennedy's going to try and take any of our opportunity. But we're looking back at this battle for 6th position. Doug Cloud leads it with Cam Porter in trail. Mickey Friesen, Michael Jenke, Jamie Hamill-Smith, and Marty Aldi all part of that train, riding on board with Cam Porter as he tries to hunt down the 6th place of Doug Cloud.
Remember, I said he lost 2 spots at the start. He's got him back. He's up into 7th place. Mickey behind him trying to remain a threat, but he's got his focus firmly on Doug just in front. These two race together a lot, and both have given us cameras in the past. Let's see who can be the winning superstar here.
Yeah, Doug Cloud and Cam Porter seem to be side by side quite often. It's really fun to have to have partners like that. When you're a little bit lower down in the field in the top 10, it's really fun to have someone who you battle alongside with. I had a partner like that when I was driving the GTUs back in the day, and it's a really fun time to have someone who you, it was Hideki Koivisto who I battled with frequently in the GTOs, and it's great to have a partner like that who you know that you can trust.
All right, what's the trust like between these two, though? No attempt at a pass this time. Well, he gets through the gears, continuing to try and chase him down. There's a close moment for Yankee getting on the back of Friesen as well there, making maybe a little bit of a look, but not a serious one. There you go. Battle for sixth place with a whole swath of cars here in the mid-pack of the GTOs.
Yeah, Cam Porter was definitely close enough on Doug Cloud. He's going to have to bring back, tow that back in over the course of the next two corners. He wants to be right in on the rear bumper going through turn one. If he can do that, then as they head up towards Remus, he'll have an opportunity to make a pass. But it's still a little bit too far apart right now. Friesen in a really good position, but he has to brake too much. And oh, Cam Porter misshifts contact between Friesen and Porter. Cam's trying to hang on to it. He manages to save it. That's going to allow Michael Janke to go by.
18 car up into seventh with ease, and in fact it slowed up both of them so much. Hamill Smith sneaks through. Looks like Marty Ollie tried to do something but couldn't capitalize. So nice job by Jamie Hamill Smith and of course Michael Yankee in that number 18. He's got about a second up to Doug Cloud, who's trying to use this opportunity to run away from the rest.
And here comes Hugh Haycox in the background as well, our leader about to lap these guys for the second time running, just about before we hit halfway. Looks like Hector Cordero Suarez has gone around in his GTO, just now getting back into the race in 18th position. Not had a good day so far for him. Hugh Haycox, though, right on the back of James Hamill Smith. Very cautious there through that downhill corner. Looks like Fabian Jungbluth lost another position as Timothy Reed's trying to claw back his way back through the field. Look at Hugh Haycox go on the outside as we ride on board with the number 14 machine.
Yeah, that was the second time Reed had to pass Jungbluth as we watch Hamill Smith here coming down through the infield out of Vert and towards Rent. Jamie does a very thankless job sometimes, basically organizing and gathering the funds each season to help broadcast this. Obviously, they have a lot of people that help organize all the unofficial championship stuff. He was way off the apex, but he's one of those hands in the pot that helps make sure that we get a nice stew by the start of each season. Right now, though, he's stewing on that mistake because Mickey Friesen is closed up.
Yeah, I saw the classic underhand shift into fifth gear for Jamie Hamill Smith, the classic Thrustmaster underhand. Definitely easiest way to get that car into your top gear. And look at that, a nice dive to the inside. That's going to be an interesting moment for Marty Ollie on Mickey Friesen. Friesen with a decent run off the corner. They're going to be side by side.
Marty can't do it. In fact, he gets a very poor exit off of Remus. So there goes Mickey on and away into that 10th place to keep himself clear. Seen a lot of mistakes in this midfield right now. It seems like those who make the fewest are reaping the rewards.
Well, it's a real handful of the GTO. The thing slides around a lot under braking. There's a lot of sensitivity that you have to do with the changes in elevation around here. And add to that, the notorious Audi gearbox can make this a real challenge to make sure you get everything in the right place. You're kind of in between gears here with the Audi in most of these corners in order to get the most you can off the straight line speed. But look at these close battles in the GTPs. Tight stuff here between Alex van der Sant and Pepe Fuentes.
This is for third in the GTP category. Pepe is caught up to the back of him very quickly. He won last week at Lime Rock, taking his first ever win in Camel GT, looking for another podium to add to it as he chases his rival, who's much braver on the brakes. My goodness, look at that. Whoa, maybe too brave as he's way off the course. Surely that is going to be a slowdown penalty, and indeed, black furled flag for the number 10 car. He's going to try and cover the inside so that he doesn't lose the spot, but it's no good. There goes Pepe.
And Michael Janke alongside Cam Porter in the background. Janke's going to take away that spot from Porter. Porter can't come back at him, so unfortunately for Porter, actually he might be able to. Porter's got a little bit more of a drive going through the gears. He's going to look to the outside there, and who's that around to the background? That's Marty Ollie, unfortunately.
That's a strange one. I look up and he's spinning coming off the corner. Did he just maybe clip the exit curb or something?
Yeah, Marty Ollie with that spin. It looks like he did clip the exit curb, just got up on that turtle and unsettled his car, got into the inside grass and spun out.
That was Holt losing a position to Sintez Galindo as well, who's getting back into it. So we've got a number of spots changing all of a sudden in both of the classes. And glad we went back up here to the front of the GTO because I was just keeping my eye on this. Ove Trangrade has caught back up to Koundalis once again. What did we say? It was about 4 seconds earlier?
It was about, I think the most it was about 3. But he has caught up to the back of Koundalis, and Koundalis is definitely does not have the pace that Ove Trangrade and Timothy Vaughn did. Timothy Vaughn has been able to, it was as wide as 5.5 seconds, but it's now 4.3 between himself and Trangrade. So Vaughn may not be out of this yet either. So Trangrade just keeping tabs on Koundalis. And if he continues to see that gap between himself and Vaughn close, he might have to pass Koundalis and start to run away. But side by side between Alex van der Sant and Pepe Fuentes again, 3rd and 4th place in the GTPs, right behind this battle for the lead in the GTOs.
So Pepe going to lose that podium spot as Alexander goes right on past once again. What will these two battles do to one another, though? Both for podium positions in their respective classes, going a little wide. Trangrade sees him coming, leaves some room. Apex taken away for Koundalis, but still he's able to minimize the damage. No change for either positions.
Yeah, you lose way too much time and a lot of front right temperature when you go that wide of Ove Trangrade down the hill. So unfortunately not able to recover. Looks like Trangrade's car, after trying to avoid Timothy Vaughn in the gravel, not as settled as it was prior to that incident. Koundalis able to keep the car a little bit more on track than Trangrade at the moment. I think he's lost a little bit of his front grip over the course of this race so far. And Alexander van der Sant's gone around, which has allowed Pepe Fuentes to pass him again.
Well then, I said it's a game of who makes the least mistakes. This one, once again, those exit curbs that the Nissan does not seem to like that cost him.
He was loose before that, Joe. He clipped the inside curb through turn 1 and was just absolutely hopping across the track. I think it might have been the outside curb that actually kept him from hitting the inside wall. It gave him a little bit more grip, believe it or not. But he's able to keep going, Alexander van der Sant, and only 3 seconds behind Pepe Fuentes now.
Koundalis, another of those drivers who will race in spite of limitations, racing from a wheelchair with an adapted rig, hand controls on that thing, and you could tell how fast he is. I think the thing that is really going to be a feather in his cap on this one, Adam, is if he can take this home, that's in top split in Camel. That's even more impressive.
Honestly, it's only until I look at the notes that I think about Ian and Arturis with the adjustments that they're having to make on the wheel. That's how good these guys are. They have proven that nothing is a limitation for you when it comes to iRacing. You can absolutely adapt any rig to work for you and still be fast. We've seen guys with multi-$1,000 rigs from guys with just a couple $100 rigs be fast in any series, in any class here in iRacing. Just goes to show how adaptable iRacing can be.
Absolutely. So this battle's still very much on, and Ove Trangrade, you see if he can shake that away from Arturis Koundalis. Both of them have raced plenty, although Ove much more than Arturis. Arturis, I believe, has himself, looks like 25 starts in his career in the GTOs, at least. I haven't counted out how many he has over in the GTPs, but the one win means he's got a pretty decent strike rate. Here we go. Look to the inside, but not quite close enough.
I think he's trying to make Arturis go deep into the corner. Arturis knows better than that at the moment, but Ove Trangrade's definitely been in striking distance multiple times. He's trying to feint out Koundalis there, but as he does this, Timothy Vaughn continues to claw his way forward. 3.8 seconds now between Trangrade and Vaughn with 13 minutes to go. He might just get there, but I'm not sure he'll be in a position to fight for the win.
Yeah, it'll take a lot, no doubt, for him to try and play catch-up. You can see some glimpses of him in the background on some of the longer shots here, but otherwise, he'll need to really hustle. Meanwhile, off of the last corner, Trangrade can't get the exit he needs. There is Vaughn in that bright orangey yellow machine, sort of a mango orange he's got going on.
Yeah, Vaughn's got to be pretty frustrated. I mean, I know that he's probably frustrated about last week's goose egg, but a little bit even more frustrated by the incident that happened this time around, just getting clipped by a GTP. Oh, look at this. Ove Trangrade looking up the inside.
little bit of a defense, though, from Kundelis late into the corner just to dissuade him. Saw a bit of smoke, I think, from lockup and Richard Holt's car, which should be able to get away with, from them, so there shouldn't be an interruption.
Here we go.
What about this one, though? Coming down into Schlossgold, trying around the outside. Arturus once again defending with all of his might, feeds him out and retains the lead.
Yeah, Trangrade probably could have gone on the gas a little early and tried to kind of become a door that Kundelis had to avoid. But I think Trangrade decided that he's seen what happens multiple times with drivers getting pushed out into the gravel there throughout multiple series, and decided he did not want to be the next victim of that maneuver.
Yeah, it's so easy to just not be aware the car is still there to the outside and push him too far. Meanwhile, coming down into Jochen Rindt, another teeny little look from Ove. Don't think that was a serious one, but he's on the charge now. He's starting to make some moves. He's going to see if he can shake free that lead from the 4.
Yeah, I agree with him. I think it's time to go. With Timothy Vaughn able to claw back, good second over the last 2 laps, I think it's time for Ove Trangrade to dispatch of Kundelis and try and get himself a little bit further down the field to continue putting gap between himself and Vaughn. Let's see whether or not he can do it this time into Remus. He's got a good run. Kundelis is going to take the inside. Who's going to break latest? It's going to be Trangrade, but does he break enough? The answer is no.
Smoking him up, trying to get it turned in down into Remus. Just a little over ambitious on the brakes that time. This is slowing them up. Vaughn's closer. It's down to 3.3 seconds.
Unfortunately, Cam Porter has had a self-spin going through turn 1, so he's now further back in the field. Look at this battle, though. Ove Trangrade not able to get by once again Kundelis, and this is totally bringing Vaughn into contention. As you said, 3.3 seconds. Doug Cloud and Michael Jenke have been side by side on this lap as well, as they're battling it out for the 6th position. Jenke unable to get past Doug, who's been honestly onto the defense all day.
Yeah, a lot of drivers paired off right now, especially in that GTO field. So could see some action other places, but we're watching that battle for the lead.
And Van der Sant's made his way finally by Pepe Fuentes. Fuentes got held up a little bit by Nils Hoyt. So Alexander Van der Sant into that 3rd position. Fuentes is not going to be happy about that, having a little bit of a tangle with the GTO. So he's definitely going to be trying to fight his way back up to 3rd. Yeah, you can see him flashing the lights there.
Yeah, Pepe almost got turned around, actually. That GTO lifted the rear of his car off the ground, and he had the sense to get out of the throttle in time before it looped on him. But the drivers keep fighting on here at the top of our field. Oh, side by side for the lead once again in GTO, and it's at the same corner again. Remus around the outside. Trangrade still not seeing it working. When does he try it differently?
He's got to try here. He's got to try it at this corner. I'm not sure this lap. He's got a good run, but he backs out of it. He's got to try and get to the inside of Kundelis around this corner, because this is where Kundelis is strongest. It's on trying to defend. Kundelis is strongest defending through this particular corner. If he can get past Kundelis in that corner, if he can push him to the outside, I think he's got an opportunity to get by. And they continue to battle. It's 2.8 seconds back to Vaughn. 9 minutes 30 to go.
Down to the final quarter of this race now. Arturus Kundelis looking for race win number 2. Need to check and see how many Ove is racked up, as he's one of the more popular drivers in many of these series, and has certainly showed himself to be quite fast in it. Looks like he's got 14 wins so far out of 163 starts, so he is certainly taking quite a few of them, but he is not close enough this time, as Arturus is responding.
Yeah, and those of you who heard that stat and said, wait, really? That's taking quite a few of them? Yes, actually, Ove Trangrade is the 6th most winningest driver in the Audis in the broadcast splits. So, yeah, he's up there as far as high winning percentage drivers.
Yeah, only 8 drivers have won more than 10 races, so that should tell you. Whoa, we got a nice little battle here down at the GTOs and mid-pack.
Yeah, Michael Janke trying to make a move on Doug Cloud. Doug's very defensive into Remus. Is this going to compromise his exit? He locks it up so that he could park it on the apex. Janke sliding it out of the corner. Friesen trying to do so as well. Not able to get the purchase that Janke was. Doug Cloud still hanging on to the 6th position, but it's desperate at this point for Doug. He seems to be losing a little bit of that efficiency of that car. The car a little bit more tight than he's expecting right now. Pretty good rotation there off of the downhill though.
Remember, Michael did not set a qualifying time. He's up 13 from the start of this race. This has actually been exceptional from that number 18 car.
Absolutely, and he's been strong all season. His qualifying, unfortunately, not quite as strong, but I think that if he can get solid qualifying, he's going to be up there battling for top fives, if not the lead of the race over multiple races. So I think he's got a great opportunity to solidify himself as a top 5 contender.
I agree. Certainly looks like he's comfortable trying to race his way forward. Just needs to get that qualifying time in next time. Oh, we need to go back to the lead because Ove Trangerade got a much better run on Koundalis once again. But again, he's being given the outside line by that bright lime green number 4. Maybe try and back it off and over under. No, he's still going to try and do it around the outside.
Yeah, this time he's got a better run, but unfortunately, Koundalis still on the inside. If Koundalis late breaks Ove, he's going to usher Ove off into the gravel. Let's see how this works. Koundalis and Ove pretty even here under the braking zone. Ove outbreaks Koundalis. He's going to turn in, and he can't hang on to it. He slides the car through the corner and misshifts. He's going to lose time, and there goes Timothy Vaughn.
Great stuff by Alex Ott, who is in 2nd place in the GTPs. He was inside of that sliding GTO. Somehow they did not touch. And yes, Timothy Vaughn is now into 2nd, past Ove Trangerade. In fact, he is within a second of Koundalis. I'd say we got a 3-car fight for the win now.
Yeah, Koundalis needs to run away now as Doug Cloud has made a mistake. He's lost that 6th position. Doug has now fallen behind Janke and Friesen and are now holding up Timothy Reed. So Hugh Haycock's setting the fastest lap of the race out there, 15 seconds in the lead. But yeah, you're right. The battle is on for the lead of the GTOs. It is now a 3-car fight. Koundalis, Vaughn, and Trangerade.
It might likely be these 3 that are going to be on the podium, but in what order are they going to wind up? Don't think we've seen Ove lead a lap yet so far in this race, but he's certainly trying. He's going to try and push hard. Timothy Vaughn has definitely led laps early on, caught his way back up. What a redemption arc this will be for his first win if he can make this stick.
And the question is, can Koundalis defend against Vaughn? He's been defending against Trangerade. He knows where Trangerade wants to fight, and he ushered Trangerade into a mistake there. It was a beautiful move by Koundalis to force Ove around the outside, get him loose out there. But Vaughn is a new competitor, and he has not defended against Vaughn yet. They've got Alexander Vandersen, who's trying to stay away from Pepe Fuentes. He's going to be very eager to get by quickly.
Here comes looking around, 3rd on the GTPs right now, that purple and white machine.
He's going to take away the line.
By, yes, he will, absolutely will. And here comes Timothy Vaughn to try and take advantage of it as they come off of Vert rather. Around the outside, it looks like Fuentes is able to leave them be, but Vaughn is all over the tailpipe of Arturus.
Yeah, Koundalis unfortunately got caught out by Vandersen taking away his line. That's brought Vaughn right onto him, and Vaughn very efficient off at the corner. He's got an opportunity to look into 1. It's not the best passing opportunity. It slows you up. I don't think this is the best time to look for a pass. He's going to take away that racing line from Koundalis, but this is going to slow both of them up down the straight. This will bring Trangerade back into the battle as Timothy Reed sneaks by.
Reed up into the top 5, wants nothing to do with this fight. There goes Vaughn. He's going to try what Ove Trangerade tried, but could never quite make work. Oh, the car looks unstable under the brakes, but he gets it wound up, and look at him launch off the corner. An outside pass for the lead from Vaughn.
That's called being on the edge, driving on the edge, absolutely on the edge of traction on the brakes, and Vaughn just powers away, leaves Koundalis in the dust, leaves Koundalis to battle Trangerade on the outside again. This time, Trangerade can't hang on to it again. Koundalis hangs on to 2nd.
Arturus, great defense against Ove, but has nothing for Timothy Vaughn. Our mango-colored number 6 car back up to the lead after he lost it earlier on with a scant 4 minutes left on the clock. Can he hold on to it?
And you said, Joe, he hasn't won this season. Think about this. Javier Del Olmo, who's not here today after clinching the championship, he usually paces on Vaughn, so it's just impressive to see the differences in the skill gaps that we've seen over the course of the season. But Vaughn absolutely putting on a masterclass today, but Koondelis isn't done. He's frustrated he lost that lead. He's trying to get back to the back of Vaughn.
It's not just this season. Vaughn has never seen the winner's circle in Camel GT on the GTO side. So this is going to be a big moment for him as they come down into turn 1. They are still line astern. 1, 2, 3.
Absolutely, as they're 1, 2, 3. Van der Sant and Pepe Fuentes are side by side as well for third position in the GTPs. It's closing into the last 3 minutes of this race. Fuentes deep on the brakes, Van der Sant on the inside. He gets loose, so does Pepe. They can't keep it together, but Pepe is going to get that pass done.
Woo! Another one around the outside.
And here
Excellent
comes Arturas Koondelis around the outside of Timothy Vaughn. Vaughn got a bad exit off of Remus, and he's going to try and do the outside pass that Ove could never pull off. Both of them laid on the brakes. It's going to be a little bit of contact. Koondelis hanging on to it. They're still side by side.
Oh, but the inside's going to go to Koondelis here. Vaughn's not going to have much to answer him. He's going to have to really dig to find the grip around this outside. He tries his hardest, but he is fully passed now by Arturas Koondelis. Back up to the lead in the number 4.
Amazing move from Koondelis to take advantage of the fact that Vaughn got loose off of Remus. So this is allowing Ljungbuth to sneak through. Koondelis is going to try and take the inside away. He puts the brakes on, makes Vaughn back it up. 1 minute 47 to go. I believe Hugh Haycock says 2 to go this time by. He's just now going through sector 2. He's not going to catch these guys on the final lap. So it's going to be white flag for Hugh Haycock this time, possibly. He's doing 116s. We'll have to see.
Up into turn 1. This seems to be one of those critical turns. Need a good exit. Arturas does have it. Ove Trangrade now on the back of Timothy Vaughn, trying to size him up, as that is Sintez Galindo just behind them, not battling with anybody right now. He could try and stay patient here up around the outside. We've seen this move once before on the same car, and he does it again. Timothy Vaughn has that one figured out, but he doesn't get on the throttle well.
Misshift from Vaughn, but unfortunately for Koondelis and Trangrade, they're both line astern with Vaughn. That allows Vaughn to get away a little bit. Hugh Haycock, I believe, is on the final lap. He crossed the line with 114 to go. He's been doing 116s. I believe this is his final lap.
The finicky gearbox of the Audi strikes again, and Vaughn leads ahead of Koondelis, ahead of Trangrade. There's your podium in the GTOs. You're right. Don't believe they're going to get caught in time by Hugh Haycock. They're just a little bit too far ahead. They'll get one whole extra lap to try and circulate.
It's going to be tense here. Koondelis goes off track there a little bit, trying to hang on to the car. They've burnt off their tires quite a bit right now. He's going to have to hope that Vaughn makes a mistake. Fuentes and Van der Sant switching positions quite a bit in third position behind, but they cross the line. They are going to have that extra lap. Hugh Haycock is going through the final sector now.
So up through the front stretch they go, but here comes Hugh Haycock on to the final turn. This was a rout by Hugh, 17 seconds to his nearest rival. Another victory to the man with the number 1.
Side by side between Pepe Fuentes and Van der Sant. Van der Sant pushed offline, unfortunately, pushed off into the gravel by Fuentes, and Fuentes backs off and gives the position back to Van der Sant.
Love the sportsmanship we see in this series. Unfortunately for them, that means Timothy Reed now has a chance to take both of them, and I don't think he cares what they're doing. He's going to try, and he's going to give another one back. So he is going to get that easily. Reed up into the top 4. No change up in the lead of our GTOs till now, but Van der Sant gets himself a nice third place after all was said and done. Timothy Reed will be 4th as Timothy Vaughn is leading ahead of Koondelis, ahead of Trangrade. Passes from here on out going to be difficult.
Absolutely, and this is the final sector. Unless Vaughn makes a mistake, he's home free. He just has to leave the car on the track through these next 2 turns, and he'll be fine. But Koondelis is going to try and put as much pressure on as possible. You can see early braking so he could get power down to try and put some pressure onto Vaughn here, but Vaughn clean through the final corner.
And that will give him his first ever victory in the GTO class, as Timothy Vaughn will take the win, and Trangarade will get second as Kundalis slowed for some reason. Not sure what that was about.
Is that possibly for championship points? We'll have to take a look at what effect that has on the championship standings.
Could have been a slowdown penalty that he got at the end. No, I didn't see him go too far out. Unless he was too far in on the apex. Very strange moment there for him. Regardless, some exciting stuff in both the classes there at the very end of the race. We're going to catch our breath. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with the official results as well as driver interviews.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back here after a stunning race at the Red Bull Ring for the Camel GT Series. Hugh Haycox will be your winner here today, and Alex Ott was second behind him distantly by about 16 seconds. Alex Van de Sant wound up in third position. Then it was Timothy Reed who claims the championship with that fourth place, although he seems like it's a bit of a mixed feelings victory for him because he seems to regret having that contact with Aaron Humphrey. We'll see if we can chat with him later. Pepe Fuentes was fifth behind him as Fabian Jungbluth wound up in sixth. Heitor Sintez Galindo, an unusual race for him, only seventh today, as Richard Holt was eighth, and as we mentioned, Humphrey, a DNF today down in the GTPs.
Then the GTOs, Timothy Vaughn takes his first win on the broadcast, places first over Ove Trangrade, having to fight his way back after getting contacted by a GTP and falling back 5.5 seconds. Ove Trangrade finishes in second over Arturas Kundalis as Arturas backed off due to some contact he believed he was at fault at through turn 3. So Kundalis giving that position back to Trangrade. Trangrade up in second, Arturas Kundalis in third. Ian Haycox able to come home in the fourth position today after early battles pretty much on his own there. Tim Kennedy hangs on for fifth position with Michael Jenke jumping Doug Cloud for that sixth spot. Doug Cloud falling back to seventh, with Mickey Friesen having a black flag at the final portion of the race, coming home in 8th position. Jamie Hamill-Smith in 9th, with David B. Lehman in 10th position. After a self-spin through turn 1, Cam Porter falls to 11th spot, with Dominic Friles in the 12th position. Marty Ollie comes home in 13th, with Mika Tupelo down to 14th position. Nick Lanks in 15th, and then we got Nils Hoyt in the 16th spot. Antonio Martinez in 17th, and Hector Cordero Suarez going to be in 18th position. Johnny Bell in 19th, and Mark Briones is going to be the first car 2 laps down, and then Devin Donaghy, our only car to see some real problems in the GTOs, finishes in 21st.
Yeah, he was involved in that wreck with Aaron Humphrey, so both of them having a bad day, unfortunately. But a man that had a very good day was Hugh Haycox, who took another win to his tally. And Hugh, excellent run up there. Another good distance between you and the rest of the field. A little bit of a smaller one today, though.
Yeah, it was good fun. It's really short lap time, so it's hard to build a gap, but especially with all the traffic today. But it was pretty good. Pretty keen race. Couple of scary moments with the slower GTOs, but nothing major.
I'm glad to see it was nothing too crazy for you out there. How was it, though, with the off tracks? So we did see at least one driver fall victim to a penalty because of that. How close were you?
I was on 0x, so no problems for me. But it's easy to get. I was kind of driving under my limit a bit once I pulled the gap, so just to secure the 0x. But yeah, no, it's quite harsh. Yeah, it's a bit like how Spa used to be, but yeah, no, I think it's doable.
Fast and clean. So it's just not fair for some of us out here. But Hugh, next time out, we're going to finish up with one where you definitely want to 0x Bathurst. You going to be there for that?
Hopefully, yeah. That should be really fun. Hopefully I can redeem myself from a couple of seasons ago and secure the win on that one as well.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you there, and congratulations on the victory.
Thanks, guys.
Hugh Haycock's your winner in the GTPs. Up next, I believe Adam has caught up with Cam Porter, who finished 11th today.
Yeah, Cam, finishing in 11th today after that spin through one, but before Michael Janke, how was that battle up there in that tight pack?
That was a really fun race today. Huge thanks to those guys for putting on a good show and having a good scrap with me. Yeah, and I had to go and ruin it by just hitting that yellow curb a little too much, and it kind of threw the car in the air and sideways, so I ended up spinning. But that lost me a few positions, obviously. I was hoping to, I was easily in the top 10 today, and I threw it away, so kicking myself.
Now, usually we see in Camel Series, we usually see the GTPs with more numbers than the GTOs, and I think that's been the case the last couple times we've been at this track. This time it was the other way around, with the GTOs having the numbers on the GTPs, and it seemed like that allowed you guys to have some really good and close, tight battles. Do you think it was the numbers that played the difference today, or do you think it was just the really high strength of field in the GTOs that really led to that close battle?
I think a little bit of both. Obviously, having more GTOs in the race will give more opportunity for close racing for everyone. So that was a positive. I always like to have the close racing. And yeah, that was a pretty thrilling race today. Still didn't do it cleanly. So yeah, just a fun race. Just kicking myself for ruining it.
Well, Cam, you're still in a really good spot in points going into the final round. Bathurst, is that just a survival race for you, or is that a race where you think you can thrive?
Ordinarily, that would be a survival race for me. I've done the Bathurst 1000 in supercars several years running now, so I have a lot of experience at the track, although I'm always one of the slowest drivers out there, but it's about staying off the walls at Bathurst for sure. And unfortunately, I will not be there, I don't think, because next Saturday is moving day for me. I'm moving from South Carolina to Virginia.
Wow. Well, congrats on the move, and we'll wish
Thanks.
you luck on that. Moving's always stressful. But Cam, thanks for talking to us. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
I want to shout out to my wife, who got a new job up there, and she's been very successful. I'm very proud of her. So thanks, Lori. Love you, sweetie.
That's Cam Porter finishing in the 11th position today. And Joe has caught up with our first-time GTO winner, Timothy Vaughn.
Indeed, had 2 wins to his name over in the GTPs, but now having one in both. Tim, this has got to be a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean, an absolute roller coaster of a race for me. It's pretty rare that I'm able to put a good qualifying lap like that in, so I was really happy to just be up there. And like when Ove qualifies 0.2, 0.3 behind you, you know he's going to be 0.2, 0.3 faster than you by the end of the race. That guy just turns it up in the race. I think he doesn't do too much practice. So yeah, that kept me nervous at the start, and then obviously had the bit of an unfortunate moment with the GTP. May have been a slight bit of net code. So, I've taken out a lot of people this season, I think, so it's only fair that it came my way once. And then, yeah, just hoped that Arturus and Ove would battle it up in front, and that's what they did, and it allowed me to get back in there. And then once I was with them, I was missing shifts, and, I was just getting so nervous. So I was, really fortunate and relieved to get the win there.
Yeah, this car is so notorious for those missed shifts. Is there anything special you found that helps with it, or is there really, it's one of those things where eventually you're going to run across it?
I mean, I do that thing where I think most people do nowadays, where you hold in the upshift and you hit the clutch, and that sort of gets it in easier than trying to time it yourself. But even so, heat of the moment, I still use the clutch pedal. Maybe I should move to a button clutch, because it caught me out a few times there, especially, as I say, when I'm getting nervous and fighting in a position that I'm not used to being in.
Well, are you going to stick with this car next season? Or are you going to go back to the GTPs? What's the feeling between the two types?
I don't know, to be honest. I would go back to the GTP, but I don't think my team's got a livery for that one just yet, so I might stick to the GTO until we can get a livery back on the GTP.
Of course, you can't go to a car that you can't look good in, right?
Of course.
Well, excellent work. Congratulations on the first GTO win, and hopefully we'll see you at Bathurst.
Thank you very much.
Timothy Vaughn taking the win in the number 6. So you can tell how much it meant to him getting to knock that one off the bucket list. And finally, second place today, I believe Adams caught up with Alex Ott.
Yeah, Alex, kind of a race on your own today over the course of most of it, but with the shorter laps and the immense amount of traffic in the GTOs, what are your thoughts on this race today?
I don't know what happened with the splits today. It was pretty crazy. I heard the second split didn't have any Audis. And we didn't have a lot of Nissans. So now in the first part of the race, I tried to keep up with you, but I had to take so many risks that I would definitely have crashed. So I knew in the first 10 minutes I had P2, second place. So yeah, not a lot of risk taking from there.
Well, Alex, we've seen you up at the front of the field for multiple seasons, and as we've been doing multiple races this season, next week we head off to Bathurst to close out the season. An interesting season closer for this series. What are your thoughts heading into that round?
Well, I don't know if you guys remember, but Bathurst last season, or maybe 2 seasons ago, was my first Camel win on the broadcast. So it's a special track to me. I am very excited to go there again. I really like the track.
It's a special track to a lot of us. And when it comes to racing, are you going to stay in the GTP next season? Or are you going to be racing next season? Or are you thinking about switching to the GTO or heading somewhere else?
Oh, I always let the track decide which car I pick. So sometimes I race the Nissan and sometimes I race the Audi. It depends on the track we're going to race.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you next season and next race as well. Congrats on second place, Alex.
Yeah, thank you guys. And have a nice weekend.
That was Alex Ott, who finished second in the GTPs. Back to you, Joe.
That's going to wrap us up for today. And a big thank you goes out to the Camel community for bringing us back for another season of coverage. But also thanks to the team today, Adam, Zach, and Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media, our website, and our merchandise store. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. Like we said, the finale will be at Bathurst, so that's going to be full of excitement. That'll be Saturday, September 2nd at 1 p.m. Eastern. Also, be sure to check out our other broadcasts that we have listed here. And until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.